Hello there folks, welcome back to a Chap Reviews. My name is Ash and I'm going to give you my British middle-aged review of the movie Nobody 2, which came out here in the UK today. It's a direct sequel from the original film Nobody, which I think came out in around 2021, featuring Bob Odenkirk and his little family. Now the first movie was all about Bob being a nobody. In fact, he was actually a retired assassin trying to live a normal life, and circumstances led to him having to revisit his unique set of skills. Well, Nobody 2 is kind of a follow-on from it, but now, instead of trying to live the life of a nobody, Bob Odenkirk, who actually plays the character called Hutch, is living with his family in suburbia, but now he's working as an international assassin problem solver, whilst trying to live this double life as an ordinary man. He's not trying to, not embrace his life and his skills. Now it's part of his life because he's paying off a debt, which is something which he's saddled with after the first film. However, it all gets a bit too much. He's not spending any time with his family, so his wife and family pressure him into going on something of a family holiday. And he chooses to go to, I think it's called Plummersville, which is a kind of resort town in the center of America where they've got a water park and, quite tacky hotel. It's clearly quite an inexpensive holiday, so the whole family packs up, including Dad, played by Christopher Lloyd, who's one of the secret stars of this show, really. And off they go into this really sort of crappy resort town. And almost immediately they go out for the day and they get into an incident in an arcade in which one of the kids gets bullied and one of the attendants slaps Hutch's daughter. And this leads to him unleashing his inner assassin, beating the crap out of everybody in this situation. And this begins a chain of events in which we discover that this town, Plummersville, it has a corrupt sheriff played by Colin Hanks. It has a corrupt town boss, and there's even an organised crime network at the very head of which is none other than Sharon Stone, who plays a kind of mentally deranged female boss who is, wow, she really plays this one tongue-in-cheek. And the story unfolds into chaos, violence, much of it, as I say, a little bit tongue-in-cheek. Even though it is a 15 age category, there's loads of violence and limbs being chopped off and gunfire, all leading up to a grand finale face-off at night in the resort where Sharon Stone and her 24 henchmen try and take on Hutch, his brother, and his elderly father. And it becomes this, almost, it reminded me so much of those, the A-Team TV series where they set up booby traps at the end for the sort of grand fight at the end of each episode. And it becomes a bit like that. But let me say, this is a film that you go to watch not because you want to do a lot of deep-seated thinking or you want to come away with a message that you've learned in your journey of watching this movie. This is simple, ordinary fun. I actually came out with a big smile on my face. It ends in the way you'd expect. The good guys win, the bad guys don't. It's a barrel of laughs in a slightly different tone that you would get from some other feel-good films. I really quite enjoyed it. I'm going to give it 3.5 bowler hats out of 5, simply because, let's be honest, it's just a fun film. And as I say, it's not going to stress your brain. It's slightly under an hour and a half in length, so it's not a long drawn-out afternoon at the movies either. It's really just good fun. And the stars themselves, Bob Odenkirk, 62. Somehow, it seems incongruous that he's playing this really tough-as-old-nails assassin. He's not very tall, he's quite elderly, but he pulls it off quite well. Sharon Stone, 67 years of age, playing this deranged female she-boss, organised crime. Really quite fun playing out a type. Christopher Lloyd, 86 years of age, playing the dad character down to a T. It's good fun. Go and watch this if you want just some entertainment for a quick 90 minutes, and it'll give you all that you need. And For me, I sincerely hope there's a Nobody 3, because I think there is space for movies like this in the cinema today, because it just brings you laughs. So there we go. Hope you enjoyed today's review. If you did, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to see more, and I'll see you in the next one soon.